What's up, guys? I'm Alex.
I'm Jason. We're the Table Monkeys, and we are back with another video. Today we are going to be reviewing and talking about the epic King of the Table 6 event that just happened in Dubai. It was nuts. It was crazy. 3 matches total. The one that we're really going to touch on is obviously going to be Levan and Ermes, because that was just going down as one of the best matches of all time. It was mind-blowing. But we will touch on the other two real quick. First one was Sabin
Badalescu and Pablo. I can't pronounce it. No, I don't know.
Sabin and Pablo. Fucking crazy match.
Yeah.
And one of the cool things about this sport is when you see people have to make adjustments and get into situations where they have to kind of change styles and stuff, and that's really what I think draws a lot of people to arm wrestling when they learn how to do it, is the idea that you get into situations that you can figure yourself out of, that you can use your mind and your techniques and kind of trick your way out of without having to just blast through same thing only harder.
That's
right?
That's the coolest part of the sport in my eyes, is seeing the combat aspect of the sport, seeing guys lose and then figure a way around it and come back and win. So what happened, Sabin came back from 2 down to win 4-2.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a bit of ring rust, right? He'd been out of the game for a while.
Yeah.
It's his first match back, and it's a big stage, king of the table, going up against a top level competitor. But he showed that he really is at that level, and probably a small level above Pablo.
Yeah.
Came through and just started dominating the last four
and
rounds.
used his experience, like we said, showing that arm wrestling savvy, where it was, figuring out the lane that he needed to get to and which ones to stay away from and all that. That just made it a really cool, epic match. And then, like Alex said, it showed, I think, this whole card, and what we'll really touch on with the Levan and Devin match, was just how much it showed that arm wrestling is a fight sport. Yes, strength, as we always say, it's a fight sport over a strength sport, but strength is the #1 factor. So obviously you have to be strong enough. But if you're strong enough to be in the fight, then it becomes about how well you can fight.
Yeah, and Dennis was definitely strong enough to make it all about strength.
Yeah.
Obviously, John is the best arm wrestler in the world, but Dennis was just able to control center, control the hand position, and pretty much just wait out John for the entire 6 rounds.
He was able to take and maintain enough control that he was able to allow John to kind of work and search for those, like, to play the arm wrestling game and be like, oh, maybe I can go here, maybe I can go there, and basically looked like every lane Dennis had control of. It also looked like he was being super friendly.
Yeah, he was gripping him low, being very nice in the setup, and not hitting at all.
Pretty sure he apologized for winning.
Yeah.
He finished winning. So it was definitely the nicest arm wrestling match I think you could see, especially at that level.
John's Dennis couldn't do whatever he wanted with him. He couldn't pin him at will. He was going for surges and getting stopped by John. So he still had to work around John a little bit to get the pin. Yeah. But he was obviously in complete control.
Yeah, for sure, exactly. And who knows? Obviously, there's talk that he called Devin out afterwards.
Right after he called out Devin.
So obviously, there's talk of that. John's opinion on that right away was that, well, Dennis has got a lot of work to do before he can actually catch Devin. Thinking that there's probably a bit of a strength gap at that point, and definitely a huge endurance gap. Devin obviously feels the other way. He holds Dennis in super high regards, and knows that Devin doesn't pick goals without knowing that he can.
You mean Dennis doesn't pick goals?
Sorry, Dennis doesn't pick goals without knowing that he can really achieve them. Yeah. So Devin, knowing that Dennis picked him, knows that Dennis has got something figured out and Dennis has got a plan. So
so that might happen at East vs. West 8, right?
Yeah.
So July, which will have another epic match as well.
It's not confirmed, but that would be that's the one that we've heard is a possibility.
Yeah.
But their match is definitely going to happen. It's just a matter of when, and that's epic because it's also the first time they've ever pulled right-handed, if and when it does happen.
Yeah.
Right? So super excited to see that. But obviously Devin's got to get through Gennady first. Which is the next East vs. West in May, which is going to be epic. Yeah. And at that one, Ermes is pulling Jerry at that one, right?
Ermes is pulling Jerry, yeah.
But now that we'll get into Ermes now, we'll talk Ermes and Levan, and then what they've got coming up next as well. So this match, was it crazy?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was going to be like one-way traffic, all Levan, 6-0 demolition. I thought Ermes would do better than Devin, but not much better. Not to this
extent.
I mean, he still lost.
He still lost 4 rounds in a row.
4 rounds in a row, but he was amazing.
The amount of damage he was able to do to Levan over those 4 rounds.
Yeah.
It's like that classic Rocky quote. It's not about how hard you can hit; it's about how hard you can get hit and keep on going.
Keep moving forward.
Yeah. And that's what Ermes showed us, that Italian stallion.
Yeah, and Levan didn't want to get back up. He didn't want to come back to the table for rounds 5 and 6.
Yeah, which in his defense, he didn't need to.
Mm-hmm.
It's only his legacy of never losing a round that he would have been fighting for. Which at that point, it looks like he would have been seriously putting his life on the line for it, because we didn't see him leave on a stretcher like Vitali, which is crazy to think back and be like, holy shit, it got taken to that level. But I think the thing that is kind of coming to fruition through matches like the Vitali match and like the Levan match, and seeing athletes get pushed to this point where they're on oxygen, they're getting their blood pressure checked. We already know that they're pushing things, chemically pretty far, so that we know
on top of their weight.
Yeah, we know the risk of that. But then in order to, the result of pushing the chemicals so hard is that then they're, like Alex said, they're so fucking heavy that just being that heavy alone, regardless of whether you're, increasing your blood pressure based on PEDs and stuff, is an issue on its own, right? Just being 415 pounds is not healthy as it is. So what we really think this is showing is about how much of a fight sport this actually is. And we heard Derek talking about maybe creating, limits on weight classes and stuff. We don't think that's necessarily the way to go, because we feel that the sport is going to sort of naturally select the right athletes for it. And the fact that Ermes has got it was a 55 kilo gap, right? So Ermes not even cracking 300 pounds, and he's a 6'1" with a 6 foot, not even 6'2", 6'1" and a bit frame, carrying just under 300 pounds, and he was able to generate enough force to stop a 415 pound Levan, which just shows that how much of that extra weight that Levan was carrying was actually translating to the table, and how much is just excess weight.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going to start ironing itself out. Levan already started talking about how he's going to need to lose weight, right?
Yeah, he said in a post-match interview he probably needs to lose 10 to 15 kilos. So that would
It's probably being conservative. He could probably afford to lose 30 kilos and still be almost as strong as he is.
Yeah, right? But as arm wrestling gets more popular, the athletes that can be 300 plus pounds and lean and athletic are going to pick arm wrestling, or they're going to
start gravitating towards arm wrestling.
Arm wrestling, and then they're going to be the top dogs in that weight class.
Yeah,
right.
And a good example of that top dog athlete who's a 300-pound shredded athlete is Levan's next opponent.
Yeah, Artem Morozov, which was just confirmed, right, in July at East vs. West 8.
Yeah.
He's Levan's next competitor, and he is going to be even more an athlete than Ermes. 6'4", longer frame, and he's a true test.
Mass, heavier, or much easier. If you look at Ermes, where Ermes started, Ermes has maxed his frame out. Morozov is only 24 and still got frame to build.
Yes,
it's insane. So, and as we're saying, he's 300 ripped. He's an athlete. You've seen him perform already. Obviously he gets blown up and stuff, but you don't see him going pale. You don't see him over there needing to take oxygen.
No,
the guy's got abs at 300 pounds, and he's clearly an athlete. He knows how to stay physically fit. Yeah,
just to compare him to Ermes, because he's going to face Levan just like Ermes did. Morozov had that match with Rivas, beat him comfortably. Well, maybe not so comfortably, but beat him. It was a tough match. Ermes had the match with Dave Chafee, and then they faced each other left hand, and Ermes was just completely gassed, had nothing left for him.
Right.
And Morozov was still,
fresh.
I'm fresh to go, man. I'm ready, and just demolished Ermes.
Yeah.
So it shows that he's got much bigger gas.
And that's what we're trying to talk about, is this complete athlete that is going to be the new model, I think, or the eventual model of what it takes to be a super heavyweight champion. It's not going to be a sloppy 400 pounds. It's going to be a fit 3 or a fit 330 or something like that. Even an Alex Krdecha, as much as he's still leveling up as far as skill and being in the game goes, even though he's at a very high level, his frame, his build, his athleticism is is much more towards what I think the sport is going to end up looking than how Levan looks against Ermes.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah, Kardashev is like the pinnacle, I think.
Yeah,
of
6'8", like just shoulders wide as a door frame.
Yeah, could be a strong man if he wanted to.
Was a strong man.
Oh, right, yeah.
Was a strong man. And that's another great example, not to make this video too long, but just to touch on that real quick, the strongman thing. You see how that variety happens in strongman, where you take someone like Thor, who's a literal giant, like a Kardashev, 6'8" plus and 400 plus pounds, but still in relatively good shape and can move. And then you get somebody like Eddie Hall, who knows that in order to be strong enough to compete with these guys that are this big, he needs to get himself so big that becoming physically fit kind of goes out the door, and he just becomes so statically strong that he can compete with these guys who, like someone like Thor, might not have the natural static strength that someone built like Eddie Hall does, but he's got the package to be a two-time world strongest man, or Brian Shaw, even more of a full package of an athlete. And that's what happened in strongman, and I feel like that's what's going to happen in arm wrestling as well. Now, obviously in strongman, the guys are monsters, and maybe that'll happen in arm wrestling, where we get all the, like, everyone in the super heavyweight class is over 300 pounds and
over
6'4" and that kind of stuff. But I don't think that's creating a weight cap. I think that's just creating new classes. You know? Yeah. So, where it is right now, I think it fits. I think 250 is a great cutoff for heavyweight. Maybe that gets bigger and bigger. Like again, in powerlifting, there's a 242, then 275, then 308 before you get to super heavy. Because again, weight really, like, mass moves mass. Yeah, that's the bottom line. Yeah, right. Yeah. So
kudos to Levan for getting 4 straight pins on Ermes. And proving that you are the best in the world.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see your match against Morzov. Great job.
Huge kudos to Ermes.
Ermes, amazing match. Total
Showing
gladiator.
us that it's possible.
His next match is going to be against Jerry, so that'll probably be whoever wins that match will be the contender for whoever beats Morzov.
Yeah, that's
wins Morzov and Levan.
Yeah, we see it like so. Morzov, Levan, the winner of that should face the winner of Jerry and Ermes, and I think the main takeaway, again, just to prop for Ermes, is like he showed us that the god can bleed, and that's the first step. It's like the first time in the gym when someone hits a 700-pound deadlift. If you've ever been at a big powerlifting gym, there's that first person that hits that 700-pound pull, and once they do that, like within a year, you've got 3 or 4 other guys that all hit 700 pounds.
Yeah, same thing happens all over in sports. Like the first guy to run a 4-minute mile took forever to do it, and then everyone's doing 4-minute miles.
First person to run a 4.340, and then all of a sudden a 4.240. That was the big like breaker. All that, like it takes people seeing that people can do it to realize that they can do it.
That's it to believe it.
Yeah, exactly, and that's kind of the thing, is that Levan has had this aura of being, a space alien, as Devin said the other day, and that's maybe some truth to that. But then you see someone who seems much more human, like Ermes, make the space alien bleed, and you go, holy fuck, it's possible. Maybe he is just a human. And
then you send in the Terminator.
Yeah, then you send in the Terminator, Morzov, and it's fucking over. But no, Levan is still way at the top. Levan was still super dominating performance. He's still the top dog. I still think he's a heavy favorite against Morzov. But based on how the match with Ermes went, I think we can all say that Morzov might be his toughest battle yet, And look, across the board, it looks like it's that athletic puller that becomes Levan's kryptonite a little bit. Even someone as small as Angabayed caused him a lot of, like problems as far as cardio and blowing up and endurance and stuff. And he dominated him 6-0, The only other thing for Levan, I think, is the hanging on. That was maybe the only mistake he actually made, which probably
got a little upset in the beginning, like how I think he probably thought it was going to be a lot easier than that. So he got caught hanging on to Ermes, whereas Ermes was trying to get to the strap.
And that's the thing with arm wrestling; it doesn't take much, but if you get reversed just a little bit, it takes so much out of you that those could have, like, little mistakes like that by Levan could have been what made it look get so crazy by the end, just not hanging on there. Then he flashes him round 3, and now we don't even have that whole foul back and forth, and he never even takes oxygen, So maybe Levan comes away from this match with a whole bunch of like mental notes for himself, and then he goes to Morzov, and it's just like smash, and we're all like, holy fuck, okay, we don't even know what to do now. Because he hasn't been tested. He hasn't been tested at arm wrestling skills in who knows how long. Ermes the first one to do it to him in any way, so That could have just been like fire under Levan's ass, and all of a sudden we get a Levan that drops 30 pounds and gains 5 more pounds of muscle, comes in just fucking like absolute beast mode, and it's a whole nother level we didn't even know existed.
Yeah, totally possible.
So, the sport is only growing.
Exactly.
That's the video.
Like the video, leave feedback down in the comments.
Subscribe, smash the bell, all of those things, and
Peace out.
peace.